Good evening once again. We will start. I think we have enough number of people. 30 people is good enough. I was waiting for somebody to moderate. We'll see. Normally, CG is the person who moderates. If he comes, fine. Otherwise, I will moderate myself. Um, welcome to yet another edition of Market Mirror. It has been more than a month since we did this session. My name is Vijay. And we normally do this market mirror 8:30 on Sundays. We've not been too regular, but whenever there's an interesting topic, I do a session. And I think the last 10 days have been very interesting for the wrong reasons. One would have thought for budget, people would have loved to hear about the budget, but it looks like Adani and Adani and Adani is you know, dominating the discussion. So, so this session will be similar to our regular sessions, 15 to 20 minutes, maybe a little more. I speak today, and then we open it up for discussions and question and answers. And I will conclude, ending by telling a story similar to what happened here in this case. So, if you are keen, kindly stay back for my concluding remarks. That will be very typical every time I do that. Today, our topic is. Who really sold Adani shares? Adani shares, sorry. So now the question is, a lot of people are scared. One, yeah. Okay. This is why I need a moderator. Anyway, so who's really sold Adani shares? Who bought Adani shares? We would know from whatever data is available. And I'm sure quite a few people know that the amount of interest in Adani group of companies from the retail investors is very, very low. Even the mutual funds is very low. It's a heavily concentrated group with the promoters holding many times close to the 75 mark. I think in Adani Wilmar it is 87 split between two, Adani and Wilmar. So that I think will go back to below 75 in 2025. Okay. Adani, let me give you a little bit background before we actually come to the main topic, which is who would have sold. So I have done some study, and based on that, I have got a hypothesis, because you don't really have actual data which tells you who actually sold, unless you have bulk deals, and then you can make out as to who has been buying and selling in bulk, which is not there in this case. Neither a block deal nor a bulk deal, nothing is there in this particular case. So this Adani group is not a new group. It has been there for the last 25 years, and it has had a meteoric rise only the last 5-6 years. And mainly this rise has happened because of acquisitions across the board by Adani Enterprises. And so much so now they have become considered too big to fail. So this has happened only in the last, say, 5-6 years, I would say. Adani was a sleepy little share till even 2013. After 14, it moved up a little bit, but till 18, it did nothing. And then it started its meteoric rise. Now, when you suddenly see a group which suddenly rises like this, then the criticism of crony capitalism comes. Now, crony capitalism is not new in India. In fact, crony capitalism is been in existence all over the world since centuries. It has nothing to do with only the last 30, 40 years. So one should know that crony capitalism existed many, many years ago also. So there is nothing new about crony capitalism. But how crony capitalism is handled is what is important for us to know. You see, in India, most industrialists who have grown too fast have always been associated with crony capitalism, who have grown too fast. Whether you take case of Dhirubhai Ambani or Satyam or Anil Ambani or Sahara Subrata Roy, GMR, GVK, there are any number of examples one can look at where it's not, it has grown only because of crony capitalism, their growth. But somewhere along the line, they have become trying to become independent, Most of them have failed, excepting for Dhirubhai Ambani. The difference between all these groups which failed and Dhirubhai Ambani, that Ambani concentrated more on equity capital, and all the other groups have concentrated on building their empire through debt. Now, that is interesting. That is good to some level. Beyond a level, that becomes like an albatross. That is, it will pull you down because you need to raise money continuously for your expansion plans. And if you have decided the debt route, then there will be greater scrutiny in debt rather than in equity. If you observe, a lot of companies have come to the market, raised money through equity, and at sky high valuations, and people have subscribed. For instance, last year, we have had these platform stocks which raised equity at extraordinarily high premiums, and they were able to get subscriptions, and subsequently the equity holders suffered. Whereas in case of debt normally you will have to go to much smarter investors, I would say, and especially when you go to foreign debt, all the more problem, because you see too much of scrutiny comes. So that is the issue with Adani. Adani Group has chosen the debt route more than the equity route. So this is, you see, what has happened is, if you look at the growth versus the increase in debt. For instance, Adani Enterprise itself, I think from 14,000 crores, they've got some 41,000 crores in last 1 year. And if you look at something, there is one, ratio which is called the net debt to EBITDA. Net debt to EBITDA for Adani Enterprise is about 6.4x. The industry average is less than half, 2.9 or something like that. Generally, around 3 is acceptable. This is a ratio which people who are lending will check. So now you are having here 6.4. So that is the problem. What is this ratio? Basically, it means that your ability to pay off your liabilities. Then you look at valuations. This group has got huge valuations even before this crash, even after the crash. The valuations as on Friday's close for Adani Enterprises is 150. So I'm focusing mainly on Adani Enterprises, though the other group companies also suffer from similar or maybe greater problems. The typical PE in this industry, for instance, any infra company would be around 30, 40. This is standing at 150. For instance, L&T, not exactly comparable, but L&T, a great company, infrastructure, the P ratio is 30 and it is doing nothing. Reliance, major infrastructure projects, P ratio is 24. They're not strictly comparable, but what I'm saying is the size. They're looking at, building the building blocks for India's economic growth. So these two companies I've just taken and just compared that with Adani Enterprises. Of course, in their group, maybe Aegis Logistics will come, but they're very, very small companies. So I would say you compare with L&T or Reliance, and their P ratios are much lower. Adani is 150. And recently, they have gone again and acquired two cement companies like ACC and Ambuja. They've increased their debt further. In fact, I was listening to an interview with Karan Thapar and UK Sinha, and in fact, Mr. Sinha, who's the ex-chair of SEBI, he was very shocked. He said, "How did the bankers actually give them loans when you have debt to EBITDA of 15 and all that in the group?" So, that this kind of issues were already there. It is not that this has come about yesterday, or it has come about because of Hindenburg. Uh, People like me actually talked about it. And even when I was a broker on the National Stock Exchange for many years, I counseled my clients not to put money in this group. Now, of course, one can say stocks have gone up since then, so you lost an opportunity. But having had experience over 30 years and seeing these big groups, the small groups becoming big groups, and then failing and failing very badly, I think that caution is what my clients wanted, and they've got it, because you can sleep well. Because you never know, a high debt, high PE, highly concentrated promoter group, promoter group who's holding highly concentrated in terms of number of proportion of shares. How can it, how high it can go, how low it can go? It's very difficult to judge because there are less floating stock. This is not only with this group. It has happened in the past. I've seen it number of cases. I gave you some examples where the promoter controls the floating stock, so you can control the price. That is the price we have to pay being in the equity market. Really, one can do nothing. Um, so you see, this is what, even if this a lot of people talked about it, I talked about it. Of course, I'm too small to make any dent, but I think Sucheta Dalal wrote about it and she got criticized for it. The share price fell and then again it took off by about 100%. It has gone in the last 1 year and about 1400% in the last 3 years. So now what happened is, you see, today, today we are having two sets of people. One who are, supporting this Hindenburg report, and who are anti-Adani, I would say. Uh, so that is how one group is. The other group is who are supporting Adani and who are anti-Hindenburg report. Hindenburg report has created havoc, which came about on 25th of January. Now, I don't know whether people have read the Hindenburg report. I have read it almost completely. I have read it completely, actually. But memory, I may not be able to tell you. They also given a summary. So very few people, I would suspect, have read an Hindenburg report, because by my experience, when I write a thread, in Twitter, if I put a thread which consists of 3 tweets, people say it's too long, just for 3 tweets. Okay, and I'm very sure people would not take their time to read it. And I have had debates among people in WhatsApp groups, and I'm quite sick and tired, because both the groups, unfortunately, are looking at either anti or pro Hindenburg. The point is, we try to shoot the messenger instead of looking at the message. If people have looked at what information is there, all this information which has come from Hindenburg was actually available in public domain, excepting for the innuendos which they have made. They have surmised something based on their understanding of how the money has moved. Now that, of course, it is anybody's guess. Like, I'm going to make a guess now as to who has sold, for instance, or who has bought. But you can make an educated guess. But apart from that, every other piece of information, including who the auditors are, what what is the size of the audit company, and what is the who are the conduits for all this, is available in a public domain, either through, you can see in their prospectus, in the FPO prospectus you'll get it, or when they announce their quarterly results, you get it. So it is not something, not that Hindenburg has suddenly found something and this information is not available, so everybody is shocked. SEBI knew, NSE knew, RBI knew, I knew. I'm a one-man army. Okay, if I know it, then everybody would know it. Hmm. So let's not get carried away by saying Hindenburg came up with something to destroy India. That is the most foolish thing which I can think of, and I'm very strong. I am very strong on this, because that guy that bald-headed guy who spoke about India with that Indian flag, that gentleman has left India. He didn't want Indian citizenship, and he has gone and taken Australian citizenship. So I don't like people who use Indian flag in the background. I also use Indian flag when I'm running, but I don't like people who do this and talk about that there's an attack on India, and you are an Australian citizen. You have forsaken the Indian citizenship. So I don't think. I think we should be very careful in handling these kind of people who are actually not Indians. So what we have to see is whether the information which is there is relevant for us to make decisions. When I said I will not ever invest in this group, was I have no idea about all that, siphoning of money. That is secondary. What is important is that they are debt laden, increasing debt. They have no, they are asset rich, cash poor. Asset rich, cash poor is a sure shot. What shall I say? Path of destruction, unless they increase their equity, which they tried by trying to get a FPO for 20,000 crores. Now, about Hindenburg, what they are doing, very clear that they are short sellers. They want to make money off, this episode, and they have caught them at the most vulnerable time. So it is a part of the market where short sellers catch the bulls at the most vulnerable when they are most vulnerable. Same thing, bulls also do a short squeeze when the bears are most vulnerable. So to attribute any other motives to it, I don't know. Because what Hindenburg has done, I've gone through that report. It is perfectly legal. They have They have said that they will make money if, I mean, based on if there is some, they have some vested interest. Clearly, they have said their vested interest. They are supposed to say it because the SEC guidelines clearly mention that you have to mention. And same thing in India. For instance, you say your disclosure should show whether you're long or short. So it's nothing new they have done or nothing spectacular they have done. They have done as per procedure. They have also said that they have not shorted Indian stocks, Adani in India. They have shorted the debt market and they have taken derivatives. So now Adani doesn't trade outside India. So if they have made a structured product and shorted that, I wouldn't know. They have not mentioned it anywhere. Nobody has mentioned it. But what clearly is that they have attacked the debt market or the bonds of Adani. That is where the problem is. It is not in the equity market. You see, Adani lives and dies by the debt market. So for him to protect, for them to protect bonds, the bond prices and the yields, are very, very important. Not so much so as the stock price. Stock price makes, is not so important because they have hardly, kept us, what shall I say? They have hardly pledged it with anybody. I think Adani Enterprises is having a pledge of only 2.6%. So they don't have to worry about the stock price. They have to worry about their bond prices. And that is where the issue is. People have just not bothered to look at it, even the great analysts. They're only looking at the stock price and arguing to and fro. That bond price is where the action is. And bonds have collapsed, the yields have shot up. Even after the Friday's rally in bonds, the yields have still at around 31% or something, which is very, very high. Yield to maturity is 31%. However, Adani doesn't have any great, amount of bonds to be renewed. In fact, they have to make an interest payment, which they have made. That should not be a problem to make interest payment. What it does is that it cripples their ability to raise bonds at competitive rates. That is what this Hindenburg report has done. So this information, I repeat, was known to everybody, including the regulators, but they turned a blind eye. And unfortunately, the sufferer is the person who's holding shares other than Adani. Because what has happened is because of the sentiment, everything has come down and a great budget has been overlooked. So that is the issue. What else I would say is this promote holding in all these shares are very high. And if you really look at it, you see, promoters hold about out of 114 crores is their equity size. Promoters hold 86 crores, 86 plus crores. FI hold about 17 crores. DIA hold about 1.36 crores because LIC, which holds 4.8 crores, claim that they are not sold. So even in DIS, I don't think there is any big holding by any particular set of people. And because they're so opaque, that's what Hindenburg has tried to show that actually promoters hold much more than 72%, which I think there is some grain of truth there because there is Elara Capital which is holding about 1.6%, and there are some other there's another firm which comes under retail investors where which is holding about 3% of their equity. So if you really look at it, retail holding is about 3.4 crores shares. So if you look, so it's not that retail is really suffering there, but certainly, if they have bought it recently, we do not know when retail has bought. Retail prices, I mean, retail percentage remains the same for a very long time. We don't know who has got in and who has got out. But if you simply analyze, taking from 27 January when the volumes increased until Friday, that is day for yesterday, you had the total of 1.81 crores have been sold and marked for delivery. That means 1.81 crores delivery has been bought or sold. This is a cumulative I've taken. I'm not taking that, buy today, sell tomorrow. This is some way of trying to understand what could have happened. So LIC says not sold, passive funds would not have sold, almost no funds sales from DI and FI is what I think. Retail unlikely to have sold because they are so shell shocked because I'm getting so many DMs. I assume that most retail wouldn't have sold. Neither they would have bought in the fall on Friday, but by and large. So who has sold? You see, what I think there was a hint given by the CFO who said he compared this with Jallianwala Bagh and said, "Was you Indians have sold?" Basically, he meant that foreigners gave the order, and you Indians, like what in Jallianwala Bagh happened, you did it. So I assume that it is talking about the shell companies which are managed by Indians, which are connected to the Adani group, or it could be even some of the guys who are holding Adani stocks as collateral. So I think the game, it's a big game. It is. I don't think it is any retailers or it is any LIC certainly has not sold, and it is not the small time people who have sold and brought it down. And this is what my suspicion is, and I think I'll be fairly right. You'll get, when you see the March end numbers, you will see that nothing would have changed as far as retail is concerned. I suspect, of course, anything can happen between now and March, but still. So what I'm trying to get at is Adani is trying to protect the bond market. So one possibility, this is only a possibility which I am guessing here. How I'm confident of this guess is because I've seen this in the past, which is what the story I will tell at the conclusion is. Many times the promoters themselves sell, depress the price, and buy back at lower prices, and then take pocket the difference. That has happened many times in the past. It will happen in the future also. There is no rule that they cannot sell. So they would have sold, or they would have asked their other entities to sell. Not that they will sell it, because there is lots of shell companies in who are fronting for this group. So you sell it, then you have that money, use it to prop up the bonds, and then buy back here at much lower prices. That is a very, very high possibility. I can't prove it, but it is not a conspiracy theory, but this is a modus operandi which has happened in the past. I have seen it with my own eyes. So therefore, I am taking a stance that it is likely that people close to the management would have sold, because that's what CFO also hinted. He didn't say that. He didn't say it directly, but he said Indians have sold. Who are the Indians who can sell? The big guys are LIC, not sold. Retailers unlikely. So this is where this is how the thing would have happened, is what I feel. So at the end of the day, I feel that the prices have bottomed out, at least as a tradable bottom. I identified it 100 rupees away from the bottom in my Telegram group, and in WhatsApp group I mentioned that, and even in Twitter I mentioned that at 1129. I thought the market had bottomed. It was purely my intuition and my ability, or whatever, a little bit of ability to read what we call the tape reading. And so what I think going forward is Adani's ability to raise funds is crippled, which may have cascading effect on what they can acquire in the future. And the FPO has gone. So 20,000 crores equity dilution would have taken them, would have given them the cash. The debt equity ratio would have been okay. Things would have been okay. Now that that is not there, so there will be a question mark. So I don't know how Adani will manage in the future. But this is what the situation is. It is not retailers, not LIC. I doubt it is the mutual funds in any big manner. FIIs are hardly there. They're all, I would say, shell companies which are fronting for them. So I don't know if anything, that component might have sold. But I think the first round of operations is over. So they will struggle to raise money, and any big conglomerate which has struggled to raise money, which is believing in debt more than equity, will struggle. We have seen GMR, we have seen GVK, we have seen ADAG Group. All these groups have struggled because they concentrated on debt. So I am not giving any recommendation as to what to do, but this is the scenario. So I do not believe in this hocus pocus of blaming Hindenburg or blaming Adani. The numbers are clear. The data is clear. If there is any segment to point fingers at, I think it is the regulators who have to take responsibility. Today they have come up and said everything is okay, but they should have cautioned much earlier, is what I feel. While people pick on villains between Adani Group and Hindenburg, I think the real villains are the regulators. That is my point of view. So I don't have an opinion either Adani or on Hindenburg, because the facts, Adani themselves have given the facts, Hindenburg has quoted the facts. Adani has got a reason why the share price should be higher. Hindenburg has got a reason why the share price should be lower. So that is the fight between two people trying to make money in the stock market. But the real problem, if it affects our stock market, which I don't think it will, but still, collateral damage has been huge. So that I think the regulators have to bear the brunt. They will not bear it, because that is how the regulators are in this country. They will just give a clean sheet and be done with it. But I think we have learned a lesson. So I'm just ending here. Now I'll take over. Take any questions which you have. Please, come up, and I will answer to my best. As usual, keep your questions brief, point of view brief, and we have a clean room always. So no shouting, no this one. So kindly maintain that decorum. Thank you very much. Yeah, I don't see anybody coming. Anil sir, you want to speak? Krupal sir? Yeah. Sri Lakshmi, yeah. Sri Lakshmi. VN, yeah. I've sent we invite to VN and Sri Lakshmi. Anybody else want to speak? Mohit, Prakash, Vinay. Vinay is there. Yeah. Yeah, Sri
Good
Lakshmi, you want
evening.
to go ahead?
Good evening, sir. Thank you for this one very logically explained how it happened, sir. Sir, my one doubt is FPO subscribed 1.12 times, right? Then why did he cancel it? And when all the other this one came to help him, why did he have to cancel this FPO?
Yeah, that's a very good question, Shri. See, I don't want to speculate. I know the answer, but I don't want to put it in the public domain. Now, one way of looking at it is to say that, we didn't want to. That's what Mr. Adani himself has said. He said, see, I didn't want people to suffer because the price have come down. So we are going to cancel the FPO. I really don't know what rules are there for canceling an FPO which is already subscribed. I am scratching my head because never in the history of Indian capital market it has happened. So I don't know under what rules they have done that. So it looks very strange for somebody to, get their FPO subscribed, which is very important. It's a large FPO of 20,000 crores, and that would have helped them to reduce the debt equity ratio. Leveraging would have come down. It is almost illogical for you to cancel it, especially when the family offices of the big guys have come and supported it. Anyway, the retail investor had not put in their money or not had put in very less money. So it should have gone through. But I don't want to speculate on the reasons. I feel I have reasonably a good idea why they would have done it, but let's leave it at that. But certainly, it has not enhanced their reputation by doing this, because it is not saying that I don't want you to get to pay a high price, because the guys who put in all knew that the price is lower, so they still put it at a higher price. The majority of the people who put money, whether it's anchor investors or the last minute investors, put in when knowing fully well that the prices were down. Especially the anchor investors knew, and they pumped in so much money. So I leave it at that. That, in my opinion, I think it is not a great move. It has, of course, it has hit back, and I also know why it could have hit back, but that is pure speculation. So let me leave it at that.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, Vian.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Vijay.
yeah, Vian.
Yeah, Vijay. Thank you. See, rarely have I seen anyone, and this was a bloodbath the day it was dropping like a rock. But you took a stand saying that the low has been hit and the low is around 1,100 or 1,100 and something. I mean, firstly, to acknowledge that you have the courage of conviction of the work that you've done to be able to say you saw the low and then it'll go up. And sure enough, it went up 65% in a single day. And a large cap company operating like a small cap company on the market is really unprecedented. But for someone who's been watching this company closely and this group closely, certainly they have lost their reputation the way that particular week turned out. And you can't go and recover your reputation when so much of volatility has been uh, demonstrated in in supposedly the flagship of their group, right? The company is supposed to be the flagship. uh, if you were to do this crystal ball, which you did very well in the short haul, to name a price, if you can do a crystal ball very broadly for the next 1 2 years, do you think they'll be able to recover that goodwill and the capital that they have built over so many years, and the kind of work that they are doing in infrastructure, which is definitely going to help the country and other countries where they have taken this 1 2 years, this particular company, how do you feel, and other group companies? Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Vian. I clearly mentioned then that I am not investing, even though I saw the turnaround. I did not buy a single share in Adani. I did buy Gujarat Ambuja, which I mentioned that also, but that is separate. That is not important for this discussion here. What is important is the question which you asked. See, typically when you lose your reputation and when you get a body blow, the first time, you will get a pullback in your stocks. That you will get, because if you see even S Bank. S Bank, even the first accusations were put, S Bank fell down 63%, whereas this stock has fallen 77% or something like that. So this is much more. So the first fall will always get bought, and so you saw, I mean, if you've been if you've been in the market for say 10 years, then you would have noticed this. So what I did was nothing great actually. Anybody would have done it. Anybody with experience would have seen that. There is a risk, of course, but as they would have done. But what I'm trying to get at is this: the share price may go up. It may still go up from here. You see, but the buyers are unlikely to be any big time buyers. That is first. The second and more important thing is they have lived on debt. Now that there is a cancellation of one of their bond offering, now that is going to cripple them. I cannot envisage that they will be able to get into the bond market uh, maybe next month or next in few months. So I think they will see this is going to be a real test because see, Mr. Adani is a survivor. In 1995, he was captured by the Dawood guys, and he paid apparently 10 crores or something as what is it? Ransom, escaped. In 2611, he was there in the Taj dining when the terrorists attacked, and he escaped. So maybe he's like a cat who has nine lives. Maybe he'll escape. But typically, if you see a company or a group of this magnitude of debt being hit on their debt, they generally will fade off. Something like Anil Ambani or GVK or GMR. See, GMR also had airports. GVK also had airports. So it is not that they collapsed and India went somewhere. That won't happen. So Adani is not India. India is not Adani. Let's be clear on that. At least I'm very clear on that. Though a lot of people are not. They think Adani is India and India is Adani. They will learn. They will learn in time. So nothing will happen to the ports, nothing will happen to infrastructure, nothing will happen to Ambuja, nothing will happen to ACC. I have no pro. I am. There are a lot of scaremongering going on. Having seen in the past, GMR, I gave you example. I gave you GVK. I gave you Anil Ambani's group itself. Ambani group, okay, the strategic, there was nothing. But GMR, JVK had airports. So nothing bad will happen to the country. Certainly not. In fact, we'll be getting stronger because some heads will roll, I suspect, among the regulators. And, it will get tightened. For instance, you see, in 2016, I think the PSU banks had a bigger exposure, some 50% or something exposure to Adani Group. What was that? How much was that? Yeah, I noted down somewhere. I'm not able to find it right now. But it was in 18 or 16, PSU had about 55%. Today they have only about 30 or 25%. So, so therefore, things will change. And this currently, I don't think there is any problem for India. There is no problem. There is a problem for Adani. It is evident because you are tapping the debt market. That will be, I think, see, the current debt, there will be no problem because there are people like Howard Marks, for instance. They look at distressed debt. So they will snap up the debt at a good yields because they know Adani is not going to collapse. Like GVK did not or GMR did not for a long time. They will be zombie companies. Whether Adani will become a zombie company, I don't know. But certainly their future plans will be crippled. My concern is what will happen when the debt matures a couple of years from now. 24, I think something matures, 25, something matures. I have not studied in deep when it matures. But whenever it matures, the next time they go, they will have to pay high price, which is what is the worry. So all your ambitions get crippled. So then what happens is you need to shall hive off some assets, which I think will happen. This is a little bit 2 year. You asked me 2 years. This is what I think will happen. But I don't think anything will happen to India. Certainly not. I mean, I don't even think. See, this government. I'm telling you, is very strong in what their focus is. I'll tell you, I really hats off to this government, especially the finance minister. They know exactly what they're doing. Now, okay, aberration happened. I think, see, you also must remember in the past, for instance, Subrata Roy was like, he could do nothing wrong. Sahara Shri, he always used to wave the flag, like these guys are waving the flag. Then finally, the political fortunes changed and he went. He then became too big to, they was too big to fail, then he became too big to bail, and that's why he went to jail. Now, in case of Adani and Ambani, it didn't happen. Their political fathers again abandoned him. So we don't know this. See, today, Adani is not having just one group. You can't say that only BJP or NDA or something. You can. He's got collaboration with Congress in Rajasthan, with Mamata Banerjee in West Bengal. So all crony capitalists will be there across. They are never one political party. Maybe predominantly one political party. So Adani or Ambani, anybody will play their cards across political parties. But the market will not give them their due. The credibility may come and go. That is, it is sometimes, today's villain becomes tomorrow's hero. They can turn around. But I feel if they go on this path of debt, which they are going, because they are not going into equity now, then it will be a tough job. Maybe they'll be successful. Hopefully, they'll be successful. But that doesn't matter to us because India is far bigger and India will move on.
Thank you very much, Vijayji. Very beautiful.
Yeah, Vinay.
Yeah, sir, actually, I have some observation with the policy which the government takes because if you see, he's acquiring all the ports. Like I'm not blaming the current government. Is there any policy changes that there should be a competition in everything, like ports, airports, acquiring everything? Because if this is all our strategic assets of our country, so it should not be in a one person hand. So somewhere the government has failed in this policy by giving all these contracts to Adani, so that the damages now is done as it is very crucial. Something what I feel, sir.
Yeah, Vinay, I take your point. A lot of people raise this issue. They raised it in the last 3-4 years. You see that how come he's getting everything? But it was an open bidding. It is not that the government just handed it over to him. So, for instance, even in Ambuja, he bid at 385, somebody bid at 360 or 365. So you cannot say Adani can't bid 385, and you can't say you bid at 385 better than the other guys, and I'll still not give it to you. That is not fair unless you say you have some other rules saying that you can bid only for 5 airports or something like that. You had the telecom circles, you can bid only for some number of circles. That's what there was some rule like that many years ago. I think that got scrapped or what happened, I don't know. But so I don't want to blame the government so much. See, India needs capital. India needs somebody to take risk. So here, this gentleman was there willing to take risk. Now, if you look at it in the positive sense of this one, you see, somebody is coming forward to, like Vinayak Chatterjee the other day said that we need 8 to 10 Adanis. It doesn't mean that we need 8 to 10 Adanis of this, debt-laden Adanis. We need people who are willing to take risk. You can take risk if you are having a good balance sheet. For instance, Reliance can take a risk and get into this projects if they want to. L&T can do that. So I don't think that they are so strategic that they will collapse or something. See, even if this guy gets into trouble, he'll have to hive it off. He'll be forced to hive it off. You don't have to worry on that. I don't think. I think that worry you should keep away. You may blame the government, of course. People may blame the government. It's all political. So I don't want to get in there. But simply from pure economic point of view, I am clear that this gentleman, whether he's there, not there, will not affect the country. Maybe a little bit of, this way, that way it may go. But nothing, I don't think. I'm talking of the worst case scenario that this gentleman also runs away. But I don't think so. I don't think he'll run away, first of all. Even if it happens, I'm taking the worst case scenario. I am quite confident that, you see, there are running ports. You see, this guy has got the Bombay International Airport. It is already done by GVK. So he's just taken over that. So GVK can take that over back, right? So it is not that, he has built something and only he knows the secret and to run it or something. So it's okay. The outside ports, he may be having the Haifa port and all that. There, they may have a problem, but that nothing concerns to India. No, India, we are okay.
No, no, sir.
He may have
My
a problem.
point. No, no, no. My point is there should be a competition in ports also.
There was,
Like
my
only
friend,
not
there was.
only.
How do you say it is not there? There definitely would have been tenders. There is never a government tender where there is only one bidder. Then I have not heard of it. I have not studied the who were the competitors, but I know I'm telling you an example of the Ambuja case where there were at least two bidders, and this guy won it because he got 385. He put 385 and won it. So bidders will be there. L1 is always there. This guy was L1 everywhere. That's about all. Now he was L1 because he was willing to take the risk of getting borrowing money from somewhere or raising money through Mauritius and such other places. So he got in. See, at the end of the day, the government feels that money which is raised or money which both equity and debt is above board. Then they will have no problem. At least that's what on paper at least. See, you may suspect, but till you have proof, you cannot say that this is all tainted money. You can't say that. You should not. I mean, unless you have proof. See, here I'm making some statement. That's why I'm not willing to make huge number of statements. Though uh, I may know how these operate because I have seen life. Okay, but government cannot do that. They have to go by rules or regulations, and they have to investigate and find out. Hopefully, they've investigated, and hopefully there was a tender, and hopefully not hopefully, and he got it because of L1. His bid was L1.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir. I got it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
we can argue this again and again, Vinay.
No, no,
The thing
no,
is,
sir.
it's qualitative
Not
argument.
argue.
No,
It's a kind of.
no, no, no. Sorry, I'm not saying argument. What I'm saying is argument in the positive sense. I'm saying
Yeah, yeah.
this
Positive
debate.
sense. Yes, sir.
The debate, we can go on. See, I don't want to go too much deep into it. See, the reason I did this, I'll tell you, this clubhouse, this session, was primarily because I got so many DMs saying, boss, we are dead, and I hold shares of Adani, what to do? I'm going bankrupt, and, will the market turn around? And, will we get affected as India and all that? See, I am very bullish on this stock market. First, being bullish on India, I have been. That is separate. I have been bullish. I continue to be bullish. I'm telling you, this bull market will end only up 26 PE. It is not going to end tomorrow, or it is not ended on December 1st. That is when we see. See, it may go slow, but I will be surprised if it ends below 26 PE. Between 26 and 28 PE is what I'm expecting the peak to come. Now, at that time, what the EPS will be, I don't know. That's why I don't have a number as a target. I only have a PE as a target. The market is in bull grip. It has been slowed down because of this. The budget has given something good for the market. I am very bullish, so I am not bothered. But this is primarily as a dedication to lots of friends of mine who were scared, who thought something bad will happen to the entire stock market. I doubt. I don't think so. I'm fully invested.
Sir, I want to make one more point, sir.
Go ahead.
Hello. Yeah, sir. Whatever you're telling that. So, why the investors will not think on what price they are buying and what price they are selling, and what price you if you can invest it is a good investment buy. So at 4,000, I don't think so that the price of the Adani Enterprises is not worth of investing. But now they are blaming that the market is going down. Market is going down. Adani shares fell 70%, 80%. So why the people are not thinking while they are investing in 4,000 rupees? Why don't they buy cheap and then take risk, and why they are taking huge risk at 4,000, sir? So I want to get this answer from you, sir.
Vinay, what is cheap and what is expensive, Vinay? See, for me, anything above 15 PE for Adani or for any stock, for me it is expensive. 15, 1 5. Now, obviously, Adani never was at 15 PE. So for me, I never bought. But when I identified Adani in 2014 as one of the beneficiaries, it was probably 100 and odd rupees. So from 100 it gone to 4,000, right? So people will mock me saying, why the hell did you not buy it? Let me tell you something else. In 2021, in September, I did a Twitter thread, which I put it now on my timeline is there. I did something called ugly ducklings versus dirty dozen. Okay. Now, dirty dozen were 12 stocks, which I said they should be shorted. Okay. I said sell right, sit tight. Instead of buy right, sit tight, sell right, sit tight. And these were out of the 12 stocks, they including Infosys, for instance. Uh, the all of them were in the F&O excepting Zomato. Zomato was 143. This what CG4 was there. So this there were 12 stocks. You can see it on my timeline. Now out of that, Adani also was there. What was Adani price at the time? 1580. Now at 1580, I found it expensive. Let us say I did not short it. I didn't ask anybody to short it. I won't, because people kept on fingering me saying you are bearish on the market, you are bearish in the market in September 2021. They told me, boss, give me 12, some 15 stocks where I can short. So I said, I did an analysis. I said, these 12 stocks are the danger stocks. So I put Adani at also. Adani was 1580 or something. Now Adani went up from there to 4,000, right? So now people say, boss, what kind of analyst you are? We are saying 30 years of experience. What do you know? The other stocks have all come down 30-40% from there. You go and see the number, what it was on September 26th, where I recommended 12 stocks called the Dirty Dozen. All the stocks have come down, all, excepting Adani. Now somebody will say, boss, what kind of, see, let's say he short sells only Adani. He doesn't sell any of those. He would have been ripped apart. At 4,000, he will not know. His pants would have gone. And he'll blame me. He'll say, use a lousy analyst. So we can't say what is the high price. For me, 1500 is enormously expensive. At this level, it is enormously expensive because it's 150p. I don't want any stock above 15p, and I'm telling you 30p. 30p means what? One fifth of this. One fifth of that means 300 rupees. Only at 300 rupees, I feel it's equivalent to L&T. But how can I convince? I believe me, Vinay. I have been telling people have been telling, why are you against Adani? I'm saying I'm not against Adani or anybody. I'm just against a script or a group or somebody who is living on debt. I have seen it, people losing their pants, losing everything because they went behind Suzlon, like those kind of companies, which they grew only on debt. If you grow on debt, a time will come when you will become vulnerable. Adani was vulnerable in the last week of January. So these guys, these Hindenburg guys, were just lucky, I would say. If they had returned the report last year, Adani, I doubt would have fallen. I doubt. Only they wrote it when it was 3,400 or something, and they wanted an FPO, so they were the most vulnerable then. See, if somebody Hindenburg or any other person writes a report on TCS, for instance, do you think TCS will fall down? Hindenburg may have a 75% track record, but you have to hit what they say in you hit the hammer or whatever. I don't know, when the hatoda garam hai, whatever, something is there where you have to strike while the iron is hot. So they are lucky in that sense, I would say, because this data is available. I have seen it. I have commented on it. I have done a clubhouse. I've made some comments. I made comments in my Telegram group about this. So I don't think you can tell anybody, boss, don't buy. Tell me, Vinay. Tomorrow, what should you do? Should we buy the Nifty or not buy the Nifty? You'll say buy. If you say buy, I'll say sell, because there are so many experts saying sell. They'll say, what, Vinay, you're a fool. Sorry, I mean, I'm like your friend. So if I call you a fool, I'm not really calling you a fool. So, or
Yeah,
let's
yeah,
say Vijay.
understood, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there is no price. That is my way of looking. So I'm saying I'm very bullish on the market. Okay. People are saying, boss, the peak is over. Why are you very bullish? Already peak over on December 1st when in Nifty went to 18.9. I'm saying you go to 26 PE. 26 PE, you only calculate what is 26 PE. Today is 21 PE. So for me, it is like that. For people, it is very, very high, this market. A lot of people have told me, including very successful experts who told me, boss, you're wrong. You will be wrong. Not you are wrong. You will be wrong. You will not see 26 PE. This is over. The story is over. Bull market is over. So I'm taking the other side. So we'll know. Maybe I'll be wrong and they'll mock me. Maybe I'll be right. They may not praise me. That's how it happens.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, Vignesh.
Yeah, hi sir. Sir, I totally agree with you. The certain points you mentioned. Adani is not India. India is not an Adani, or Adani is not a stock market. Okay, so what I observed here is the thing is in particularly that after the COVID, later part of the COVID, the people that the crowd enter the market, rather than they are developing certain kind of common sense and seeing the market in different way, or having some deep psychology to look at the stocks. They they are going with the steroids rather than taking an healthy medicine if required. Every day they are injecting the steroid, and with that steroid and spirit, they are buying that certain stocks, let it be Adani or whatever may be. Okay, so they need that kick and josh. Okay, we always we should I heard we heard in aeroplane or something, when flying, you should not fly with the josh, you should fly with the hosh. That's what people are not showing, I think so. That's the reason now everybody was scared, because you said that Adani, before that COVID and all, even it fell to near around 140 something level. Okay, from there it shoot up to 4,000. As Vinay said, why people are not worried when it was at a 4,000? As you said, you don't know which what is expensive and what is cheap, because if you say that, even though Bajaj Finance also from 20 rupees to it ran up to the 10,000, people who had bought 4,000 they benefited 6,000. And you mentioned last time one example of the Wipro, you recommend or you just told one guy to buy it at even the 3,000 level, it went up to the 10,000 level also. We don't know, right? But rather than looking into the some depth, doing some deep analysis and all, we said famously in Kannada, Jana Marulo, Jatra Marulo. So people are just, what do you say, they are mesmerizing with some poster boy kind of images with regard to the stocks, and they are bringing their patriotism and emotions, greed, everything they are bringing to the market. And whenever everything is going fine, they simply say that, yeah, yeah, fine, 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 nothing will happen, I'm standing. Even though I believe so 99% of the people not even thought of the booking at least for 10 to 15% of their Adani portfolio. They may bought at 200 rupees, 300 rupees also. Now they are cribbling. Oh, it came to the thousand. Whether I should book it or not, whether I should hold. They are looking for the justification, whether it will go up and all. See, they don't want, sir. When I will give you one more example. When you told that buy the ITC at the 200, but there is a lot many memes. ITC is equivalent to 200 rupees notes. That's what people don't want, organic growth of the stock market or organic growth of their portfolios, all those things and all. So simply someone became the poster boy. They said that Adani, Adani, Adani. That's all. It might be Adani or other companies also. They will run behind the crowd. They don't use the common sense and all. And see, they, even though they don't think whether I should buy the Adani or why I can't do that similar analysis to the LNT, because LNT also it's in the same portrait. Before the Adani, from 50 to 60 years, they had a much more expertise than Adanis. They could have handled that port, whatever maybe. They too had experience in overseas market also. So when that company is having such a very healthy growth and all, people should compare whether I should go with this or not. They should have that plan. If I hold also, whether I should book it or not, nobody will think, sir. That is the biggest problem. Even if you consider NCC or HCC, I don't know, they have built an Brahmaputra bridge in the early 90s before the Adani exists. So we had multiple infrastructure companies and all. So that's what I think this is what the mass psychology, mass hysteria people are living, sir. They need they don't want sattvic ahar. They every day they need a steroid. One day definitely it will bring you down, and people will go mad, and they will lose their mental ability, or it will hammer that brain nerves. So this is what happening now, I think so, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Vignesh. Very well points made. I understand. So we can only take the horse to the water, but we can't make it to drink,
True,
right?
true.
So based on our experience only, we can tell. See, we can't be always right, and I at least am not always right. 50% right is my track record, 60% best case. So we try to give a scenario. Even here also, I'm not telling anything excepting I'm giving you a scenario, a possible scenario as to what will happen. Okay, thanks, Vignesh. Tripal sir, all yours. Thank you, sir, for coming into our room.
Yeah, good evening. Uh, Thank you. Sir, you are telling about the Adani transactions, and you rightly said that dip and what you call yesterday's totally traded volume, delivery volume in Bombay on this Adani Enterprises was 16%, whereas delivery volume in NSE is 10%. That means day trading activity is brisk. Generally, what I wanted to tell you, you have seen so many decades of market movement. Corporate greed is always there when the market touches at high level of that particular share. So even in 2010, lot of mid cap companies at the time they wanted to float this FCCB, foreign currency convertible bonds, and they floated, and the greed was like this. See, even in Urban Shore, which is quoting around I think 30-40 level now, was quoting at 813 rupees in the market, and their bond conversion price what they fixed was 2780 rupees level. And even Bharati Shipyard, which has gone now, it has become defunct and delisted. Bharati Shipyard was quoting at 270 level, and they fixed the price at 498 rupees. That means that greed, see, projection, this might be the rate. So that projection is always on the upper side, and the corporate has created I mean, a lot of problems on the investors who have invested at that time. See, companies like Amtech India and Amtech Auto, or even Bharati Shipyard, they have all uh, fixed the foreign currency convertible bonds at a high level, and now some of the companies have vanished from the market. The holder who is holding is struggling. So similarly, this Adani, okay, in couple of months it has shot up, and when it has touched a high level, at that time they are floating this FPO, and okay, maybe when the rate has touched, the investors should also think that one should encash and come out. And regarding FPO, one plus point what I can tell you, or my opinion is that retail investors now are fully matured. The only contribution to this FPO was only 12% of the retail portion, but the high net worth individual and the corporates have contributed heavily. Maybe behind the screen some exercises would have gone through, but the retail participation was only 12% of the reserve portion. So that shows some maturity among the retail investors. But anyhow, now the present market condition is lot of retail investors who have entered the market. They are all thinking as a long term. But now that T plus one settlement has come, the available opportunity one should try to encash, and at least a portion of them, their investments one should encash, and wait for an appropriate time they can repurchase at the low level the same share. Because only about okay, in Bombay Stock Exchange roughly about 4000 companies are listed, and they are trading around 3700 companies daily, whereas the retail participation has increased from in last 2 years from 5 crores to 12.5 crores, nearly 5.3, 12.3 crores already it has crossed. So when the participants strength has gone up, the available companies are very minimum. So one what is happening is rotational trading. Even in Sensex we can see one day HDFC group goes, and the other day Bajaj Finance will grow, will come up. So ultimately my feeling is value pick and profit book should go together, and when the markets are all at high level, one should focus on booking profits without any psychological attachment. Then only we can, whether it is Adani or some other group, but everybody looks at the profitability. This is a commercial activity. One should look at the profit and profit alone. Then only we can protect and grow to some extent. So that's what, I mean, generally, I am not discussing on this Adani group from beginning also in our clubhouse, but now people are very much worried on this group because the price variation or price drop is there. See, in last 3 months, the price has gone up from around 2,700 to 4,000 rupees level. Nobody talks LIC investment or banking investment when the price goes up. But now when the price is dropping, because the in front of our eyes the money is melting, so we feel very bad. So this is the market situation, and one should look at from a commercial angle. Only entry level we should think of on fundamentals. Afterwards it's the business, because 6% is the rate of interest in the banks, or 6 to 7, whereas market gives you tremendous return in some of the scripts. One should focus on to that level only. That's what my opinion. So thank you, Mr. Vijayji.
Yeah, thank you, Kripal sir. As usual, words of wisdom. See, why are retailers becoming more intelligent? Because there are very sincerely, I'm telling you, because people like you are sitting every day, spending your time and trying to educate them. If more and more people become, I mean, if more and more people come, as Mr. Vinayak Chatterjee said, we require 10 Adanis. I would say we require 10 Kripal sirs, because that, or Shitil Nanaya, for instance, is coming in, and Shitil is here. The people like you regularly, you come and hammer those investors to tell them, boss, what is good, what is not good, what are the risks. Finally, over a period of time, I think more and more investors will become savvy enough to understand what is price and what is the risk. More important than price, what is the risk. Actually, I should thank you, sir, for really conducting this on a regular basis. And for people who don't attend his what sessions, kindly do attend every day at 9 o'clock. I think is when he does it. Same thing. Shitil also does it on a regular basis. Thank you, both of you. Let me quickly answer the questions which have come on the chat box. This one, unknown, asked me about whether there will be a bounce back or go down further. I assume there will be a bounce back. I assumed it on that day. I think there will be a bounce back. Generally, there will be. It will immediately not fall. Even if it has to fall 90%, it will not fall immediately. I still feel it is expensive based on my way of looking at it. Now, political support. See, this political support. Based on political support, you should never ever invest in a company. You should invest in a company because it is good and it has got prospects. Now, political support can be withdrawn anytime. It has happened in the past. Please don't go on those angles at all. How can a company like LIC was take short futures hedge? I don't know about LIC whether it really shorts, whether it's allowed. But see, as Kripal sir said, see, you're only looking at LIC's loss or notional loss when the prices come down. What about when prices go up? And when LIC has invested, how much they've invested, we don't know. We only know at the end of the quarter that they've maintained a particular proportion. But in which part of the quarter they've invested, we don't know. And LIC is like the ETF of India, which means they've got all the stocks. It's not only this Adani they have got, or Ambani, sorry, Reliance they have got, or something like that. So I think you should, look at it in perspective. LIC is not a weak institution. I don't think one should worry about it also. Nitin says Hindenburg has created bearish sentiment. Of course, it has created bearish sentiment, but it is very vulnerable. When something is vulnerable, this happens. So those guys try to make money off it, and they have said that they want to make money off it. But if they had come, I told you just a year ago, Hindenburg would know their whatever report they would have done, it wouldn't have made much of a difference to the market because the markets were much lower, and Adani was much stronger. So that timing, it's finally it is timing. Himanshu says Quant MFS sold. I don't know. Maybe they have sold because day first day I heard the MD of Quant. He said he didn't reveal whether he has sold. They have about 5 to 6% exposure, is what he said. FPO cancel. Pradeep Naik says FPO cancellation dilute shares. No, FPO cancellation will not dilute shares. If FPO they had gone ahead, then the dilution would have. Then unknown says Adani Group exposure in next Nifty 50. Unfortunate people have exposure. Okay, I mean they may remove Adani. It is not that the Adani has to be there all the time. Companies get removed and included all the time. They removed Shree Cement and brought in Adani Enterprises, I suppose. Sham Sundar says which company he doesn't remember. I also don't know. But right now they've even removed from the escrow, right? So they had kept it in the escrow. Escrow basically their ASBA model. And now they have given back the money. They're not coming back at these levels at least. Unknown says regulators move the Adani group from major indices. I'm sure they'll do it. Kiran says if Adani fails, There will be no loss, going to be no loss to government. I agree with you completely. Uh, then exposure level. Yes, of course, Prashant, I mentioned that PSU banks exposure levels have come down. Even like retail investors, PSU banks also smart. Their balance sheets are cleaner than what they were. So I don't think we should worry too much. As you also mentioned, the 55 and 26 SR sometimes cross domain may not get succeeded. Yes, SR is a very good example, Prashant. We thought that time they were controlling everything, but then they went bust. Nothing happened. Videocon. So many such examples. Then Prashant Kumar talks of yeah, that's it. Minimum three bidders. DNA. Thank you for that information. How much is present PE? It's about 150 is the PE. Nifty PE is 21. Why is SEBI sleeping and not confirming? SEBI's role is to sleep. So why you are disturbing that? As is in lighter tone, I said, I think SEBI will be forced to do something. Telegram link I've already given. Exposure to Adani Group is less, is what Prashant Kumar says. Certainly, there is no concern in my understanding. There is no concern. See, we've had some problems like this in the past, and we have succeeded. See, when Satyam fell down, everybody thought gone. Tech sectors are gone. When S Bank fell down, everybody thought small private sector banks will get into trouble. When Anil Ambani got into trouble, we thought infrastructure. He also got 8 companies. See, somewhat similar to these guys. Nirmala Candle, I'm hoping for one. Hemant, yeah, Bank of Baroda will continue to giving loans. Yeah, that they may continue to give loans, but with stricture, with strict, they will be stricter when they give loans. Why should they not give if they find they got collateral which they can use? What else is there? P is about 21. Boss, Kiran, I don't know when it will go to 26. It may go 2 years later, but I have seen all bull markets till now have peaked out at around 28 PE. So I'm thinking 26 PE. But I have not seen a bull market peaking out at 21 PE. So I believe that we'll peak out only at 26 PE. It is not that it will come next month. It may come next year or 2 years later. There are 3 market winners. It is there on my bio profile here. The link is there, Kiran. I do not know how to operate it, so that's why I'm not. Yeah, good. Unknown has put it. Then Prashant, okay, are you still bullish on Nifty or change your mind? I told you, it doesn't matter, Arthur. If it goes down for 2 months, okay. There is a battle going on between me and the bear cartel. I have been consistently bullish since May. I believe then, I believe now that we are likely to peak between 26 and 28 PE. Sure, the market can go down. It may move sideways. It may move sideways for a few months. I don't know about that. But I'm looking at little longer term. So by next year, we should be much higher than now. And finally, we should end at 26 to 28 P when everybody will be buying. They will not listen to me. In October of 2021, the P was 28. Nobody listened to me. Now people are challenging my premise. They will challenge my premise when at 28 P I tell them to get out. They'll say, boss, what are you talking about? You don't know anything about stock market. They will say, like they said it in 2021. So I am I am okay with that. Completely okay with that. So let me go back to Vajpayee. Anil sir, please ask a question. DNA, I'll come back to you. Sorry, I didn't see you. Anil sir.
I have no question, Vijay sir. Just want to thank you for having this clubhouse meeting and explaining so patiently hundreds of doubts that we all had. I'm really thankful to you that you have explained the situation very clearly and also guided and consoled the people here. So, many thanks to you. Just a request, keep on having these sessions. We like to hear you. That's all. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Anil sir, really very grateful for your kind feedback. I always look up to you. But one small complaint against you, you hardly come to my clubhouse session. So if you come, I have it. Or if I have it, you will come. Something like that will happen. So,
Somehow
so
what
you are,
happens is that I
yes, sir.
this iPhone, sometimes if you don't use application for some time, they automatically for storage purpose, they delete it. And it took some time for me to understand that why Clubhouse notifications are not coming. So a few days back, I fixed it. So hopefully I'll attend all your
Yeah,
sessions.
I'm. Thank you, sir. I know. I was just joking. I know you also know that I'm just joking. I'm planning to do one on the P notes. The next one will be on P notes. I'm just waiting. Actually, I have one spaces session planned on P notes with Palak Shah, who's written about P notes. He's a correspondent with the Business Line. So he told me he'll give me some time this week. So I'll see whether I can push it to Clubhouse. But then, these people, I mean, he may want a bigger audience. Twitter has always a bigger audience, but Clubhouse is my family. For me, I would like to do on Clubhouse because somehow I'm very attached to this, though I get a bigger audience in spaces on Twitter. Let me try. Even if he can't come, I will do it on my own on P notes because I believe one of the reasons for the bull market to accelerate in the second half of the year will be P notes. I will explain on P notes, even if he doesn't come. I will do it the next week, maybe, or maybe following week. But I'll certainly do it. It's a very, very important, measure which nobody is talking about on P note
Yeah.
participating, which we will
Yes,
do. Hmm?
I fully
Yeah,
agree. Thank you.
yeah, yeah. DNA. Yeah, thank you, sir. Yeah.
Hello, good evening, sir, and good evening all on the board. Sir, thank you very much for all the insights. I have a question, like maybe basic question look like, like many people, I think on social media there were some names of some family offices of big industrialists were ready to subscribe to the issue at 10% higher than the market price. Uh, at that time, okay, they got their money back. Now, then why they are not buying the same share when it is available at almost half the price? Or maybe okay, they may not be willing to, but why Adani's they would have done at that time at the request of Adani's. So why maybe Adani is not requesting them to do the same thing now? At least they could have supported the price at 1500, 2000, or whatever level they could have tried. So the same group of people they could have requested to support the price. Why it is not done or why they have not done? Like if you any insight or any like preposition on these things.
That's a very good question, sir. That's a very good question. Uh, Sir, the thing is, sir, would you like to keep it on mute, sir? Because there is feedback. Yes, yeah, thank you. So this thing, see, I don't know. Okay, in terms of who has bought, somebody big has bought, sir, on Friday. It showed. See, what happens is the promoters or their friends or anybody or an operator, you may call it, or institution, they want to buy at the lowest price. So when maximum panic is there, they will try to buy. The maximum panic was there on Friday. Now, of course, you may say, how do you know it is maximum panic? It may go down further. But you see, they have enormous amount of resources at their disposal. So they can stop the panic. So they would have thought, in my opinion, that let it panic. We will buy it at a price which is, which is having, what shall I say, less downside. See, normally I would have anticipated it will come at 60%. 65% is what I anticipated based on the S Bank scenario. But it came at 76%, 77%. But I didn't buy there. I didn't notice it. Only when the law broke and it suddenly took off, then I knew they have come because I saw the volume. So they also will watch. They'll see the kind of panic in the market. They'll see the kind of see. They also may have to arrange the money. They may have to agree on the price they want to buy. So there are many things which go. See, I know a lot of information, but I can't share it based because I can't show proof for that. But all I can tell you is that these cartel, whoever it is a promoter cartel, or it could be just operator cartel, it could be an institution cartel, all of these guys, they are a cartel, okay, at the end of the day. So they will buy when they want to buy, and they will buy when we want to sell, when we are forced to sell. Let me put it this way, because there's a lot of collateral damage on Friday. The brokers would have sold because you don't have money for Adani. They would have sold your ITC or Infosys because you would have kept that as the pledge. So when you see when there is a washout, I believe Friday was a washout. Washout is when the brokers simply sell left, right, center, whatever is available with them to sell. The washout was happening from 2nd of February. First was okay, it went up and down. Second, third was where the washout happened. So washout normally will happen weekends, sir. So that is another reason why one should be alert on weekends. So I am not here to give you some tips of how to enter the market. No, this is my experience. Okay. So I am always very wary, where we are very focused on weekend. So when it happened, I was doubly clear, that doubly sure that I jumped. But I jumped into Gujarat Ambuja because I thought it is better to go there. But that's okay. That's my personal thing. I could still make a loss tomorrow morning. I don't know. But this is how the operation happens, that they will jump in only when you give up, and I think they will know when we give up based on the screen. They will know it. They have done it. Somebody big has bought it. I'll be very surprised if the rally will continue. Rally will at least continue in the other stocks, I suspect, including the index stocks and the general market. I think things will be better from next week onwards. Of course we may have ups and downs, but I think they'll be better. I hope I answered your question, DNA sir.
Sir, it was a little bit different. What you are telling, it is natural for when I want to buy with my own decision. But when I want to buy to support my friend or on the request of my friend, obviously, okay, in case of year like I will obviously Adani could have requested them to support the price at higher level instead of going allowing it to go to 1,000. They could have requested to support at least 2,000 because they were ready to buy at 3,200. So the same group of people could have supported the price, because if Adani allow the price to drop to such a low level, it will hamper their ability to take new loans, because as I understand, that all the loans are secured by their placed shares of their group companies. So if share prices go down, maybe they would have to increase the number of placed shares now, or maybe sell some of the shares like that. So it may affect them like heavily. So I don't know why they allowed price to go down so heavily.
DNA sir, let me tell you, that, sir, you just please mute it, sir. If you don't. Let me tell you that Adani shares, contrary to people's on the data, I'm talking from data. Adani shares are not pledged in the manner which other companies pledge, other managements pledge their shares. I told you, below 3%, only 3%, less than 3% are pledged of Adani Enterprises. We are talking of Adani Enterprises, the big one. So it doesn't matter to them what the price is as far as the share is concerned. They wanted cash. Now, I am not saying, I'm not alleging anything, but I have seen this operation how it was. Let's say I'm a promoter. I myself will sell at 3,000 rupees. Okay, because I am not bothered about my equity problem. My problem is not in equity. My problem is in debt, because they have short sold in debt. The short selling or the problem is in the debt market. We are concentrating on equity market here because we don't have the Adani bonds to sell. So the problem has started there. So everybody is making money in Adani in bonds, not in equity. So I know that I can't do anything there. I don't have money. So let me sell my 10% of my stake through all these, the shell companies, because you can't, you are not, they are not management, so they need not report. Then you bring down the price to 1,000. So you made a cool 2,000 rupees. You use this money to buy the bonds there. So the bonds go up, and you'll have some money left. You buy it in the stock market. Then it will go up. This is the operation. This is it. It may seem complicated, but this is the typical operation which is done. I'm telling you by my experience. I've been on the Madras Stock Exchange floor many years ago. I know how much before Harshad Mehta I have been in the market. I know how these things operate. And sometimes there is a spectacular failure also. So now the question is, okay, you would have thought of, let's say I short sell at 3,000. I short sell my own shares at 3,000. I try to buy it at 1,000 so that I make 2,000, put 1,000 into the bond market, jack up the bond, use the other 1,000 to buy the stocks at 1,000, and then it goes to 1,800. That is a modus operandi, a typical modus operandi. Sometimes what may happen is somebody else may come and sell. But here in Adani's case, there is no shares available in the market, really significant amount. Because I told you, LIC won't sell, retail investors won't sell. If so-called FIs are their people, is what the allegation is, and much part of it is true. So that is how the operation is done. I hope now at least I've been able to give you. See, tomorrow, let's say if Adani is trading at 2,200, let us say, or next week, over, the people say, oh, some crash happens, flash crash, now everything is okay. This kind of situation has happened again and again and again in the past, sir. We don't remember, that's all. We don't remember. It happens all the time. Yes, bank. It fell 66%. From there, it went 100%. It doubled from there. Then it fell 90% from there. So the first bounce, you have to time the first bounce well. And the first bounce will always be a bogus bounce. I don't know in this case. So we have only seen a 50% rally. In S Bank, we saw 100% rally after they were accused of fraud. It fell 65%, went up 100%, fell 90% after that, and then it collapsed. So these kind of operations all the time happen, sir. It is not only limited to Adani or something. They are not invented this operation. I'm not saying they've done it, but there's a possibility that this kind of things happen all the time. Is what I'm saying. I have no proof. Please don't hold me to it. It's just a hypothesis I'm creating, but I'm fairly confident of my hypothesis.
Vijayji,
Okay, thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, Krupal sir.
yeah, sir, you rightly said. But the present market, not only these Adani or other companies which are in news is behaving like this. Even companies like Bajaj Finance in recent days has fallen sharply, and in one day it has recovered yesterday. I mean on Friday that by 300 rupees almost. Similarly, Titan has fallen from a high level, and even after announcing results which is not up to the mark, the price has bounced back. So this is a commercial way of thinking, and because everybody thinks that market, I mean, the company has announced I mean, not up to the expected level results, so it may come down, but it has already come down. So now the value pick has come and it has bounced back. So market is from a commercial angle only, totally commercially it is looking, not from investment. So because the T+1 settlement has attracted more idle funds to make ideal utilization, so the volatility will be more even in the frontline performance based companies. So Reliance, which was quoting a couple of months back 2800 rupees, is below 2300 rupees on Friday. So that means they, whether it is a quality stock or otherwise, everybody looks at how fast I can make money is the only attitude on which the markets are moving. That's my feelings.
No, you're right, sir. You're right. Today, people are only looking at that only. Unfortunate. See, we are all old bandicoots, sir. We are looking a little bit long term. Sorry, I don't want to call you a bandicoot. I actually call myself a bandicoot, old bandicoot. So most people today only want buy today, sell tomorrow only. And they are all looking at a commercial angle, as you rightly said. You're right, sir. But then that's market we have to somehow survive. We have survived. You have survived much more than I have. So I learned from you actually. BK, sir.
Namaskaram, sir. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm
Joseph.
fine, sir.
Um, sir, this 1071 level of Adani Enterprises. Now, since I remember in one of the previous discussions you had mentioned that for Yes Bank, so of course for Adani the storm has just started. It is just the beginning of the storm, so Yes Bank, you mentioned that someone had some major players have invested at this. Uh, I'm not remembering those names. You clearly mentioned those investors have
Yeah,
invested at the
Carlyle.
level of
Carlyle.
14 rupees.
Carlyle has invested
Carline,
14.7.
Carline.
Yeah.
Correct, sir. Sorry, sir. I missed it. They had invested at 14. So will it be the similar case at this juncture for Adani Enterprises or the ACC and Abuja Pact, wherein we can keep a stop loss of 1071 and look for an opportunity, higher opportunity, higher targets. I mean.
Yeah. BK, sir. Okay. If you kindly mute it, I will. Yeah. See, first of all, sir, I am not a SEBI registered advisor. I cannot give specific targets or something. I'm just giving you my general idea. Now you compared with S Bank. S Bank is a completely different case. S Bank, there was a fraud and the management changed. It became a PSU bank and they had to hive it off to private sector. So that was the plan. So, they turned it around. It is an SBI bank. SBI is having some large stake, 30%, I think so. So they want to now make it go back to the private sector. Otherwise, it's a satellite of SBI. So that exercise is completely different. In case of Adani, incidentally, it is 1017, sir, not 71. just a small correction in the price of Adani, which bottomed out on the cash market. Actually, in futures, it went below 1,000 also. The point is like this. See, who are you? You are a short-term trader, then you can look at this as a stop loss. If you're a long-term investor, then you have to reconsider as to why you want to get into this stock. What attracts you, and are the valuations good enough? Do you think the valuations will be good enough as we go along, or this is only an aberration? How will Adani fund their projects now that they are struggling in the bond as well as in the equity market? So those are the factors which a investor will consider. A trader will do, what we call tape reading. Like I did tape reading on Friday, but I have not bought a single share of Adani, and I don't think I'll buy, because if I was an investor, I'm an investor mostly. So I will buy only at, for me, 30p. 30p means what is it? It's coming to, now it is 150p. At 1500 is 150p. What is 30p? So it will be much, much lower. So I will not even look at Adani at all for an investment. That's how I look at. I'm not saying everybody will look at it like that. But as a trader, what one can do, you can say, okay, significantly volume has accumulated at 1017 and it has taken off. Or you can put a VWAP, for instance. People put VWAP and say, okay, what is the VWAP of volume weighted average price of Adani on that day? And then you put some stop loss based on that. Or some people may use a Fibonacci ratio, or some people may use it, this Elliott wave, or somebody may use a Bollinger Band. People can do anything for trading, sir. As an investor, for me, it doesn't attract me at all. It has never attracted me. Certainly not at this price. See, 4,000 I've seen. For that, 1,500 looks cheap. But we also seen 200. So 1,500 looks expensive. As an investor, it doesn't make any sense to me. I'm not saying people cannot make money by buying here. They may make, because somebody told me it may go to 38%, which means it's more than 2,000, which means there is some more money to be made. I really don't know, but I am not taking that stance. I'm taking a stance of being an investor. This is not investable as far as I'm concerned. My look at it will be around 300 rupees. Comes at 300 rupees, I'll get attracted. Will it come to 300 rupees? I think it may come. Am I sure it will come? I don't. I don't. I cannot be sure of it. But for me, 300 rupees looks attractive. I hope I answered your question, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Vijay sir. Sir, in this
Yeah.
case, can we consider yesterday's low for ACC and Ambuja? Can that be a good bet for a longer perspective, say about an year, if we hold the stock for a year or something like that?
Yeah. See, sir,
Something like you put the money and forget it, something like that.
yeah, I put a disclaimer. I put a, I mean, this one, I made a remark that I did buy. I mean, for the portfolio, family run portfolio which I run, we did buy Gujarat Ambuja based on the theory that these guys have put money at 385. Somebody was willing to put at 360. So if I get it at 340, why can't I buy? So we did buy yesterday. We hold delivery of that. Now, but we are also observing it whether, we need to do some what we call jobbing and reduce the prices, because I did not get the lowest price. The lowest price is of 320. We bought at 340, for instance, and that is the time, because that's when I noticed the rise in Adani. So I am bullish on Ambuja because of the value it offers. See, there is one problem in Ambuja and ACC for which I am a little. I bought it. Now I'm sitting here and thinking that what is the problem? The problem is they are cash-rich companies, both of them. Now, what stops Mr. Adani to siphon off that cash and use it for something else? That fear is always there. Why? That fear is there because I've seen it happening in the past. So that's something I need to keep it back of my mind. So I had not touched Ambuja at all for months together. Before Adani came into picture, I used to buy and hold Ambuja. I got out of it after that. I have not touched any Adani groups because I feel they are all highly priced. So because this is company is good and got cash flow, I don't. It's very tempting, no, to move that cash. It has happened in the past. So that is the only fear I have. So I'm a little bit wary of just blindly saying I will hold it for 1 year and all that. I'll watch it, sir. I have my stop losses. Good stop loss is day for yesterday is low, which it was, I think, triple bottom or something like that, if you look on the charts. But this is left to an individual. I'm not recommending anything. I have bought it, but I'm wary of it. I'm not, it's not like ITC. You buy and forget it. I've done that, but not in Ambuja. I'm being careful.
Okay,
Yeah.
noted, sir. Thank you very much,
Yeah.
sir, and thanks for giving this opportunity. Thank you. Good
Yeah.
evening, everyone.
Thanks, BK. Sanjeev, sir.
Vijayji, how are you?
I'm fine, Sanjeev, sir.
Okay, I had just some question. LIC, when they were asked, why did you invest in Adani Enterprises? They said it's a double A rated script. But now this is a public company. It's citizens' money involved. Why would they not put it in a triple A fund? Why have they parked the money at 30,000 crores or thereabouts in a double A script? That's my first question. And number two, when the Adani stocks have been falling, why haven't they encashed the profit? What are they waiting for? Are they waiting for it to become zero? So why they haven't been able to get out? Is it because there are no buyers, or is it because the government says hang around there? So what is it? I don't want to. I want to ask you any prickly questions, but if you can just give me a summary of what's happening.
So Sanjeev sir, that day we discussed. See, the thing is, LIC will have an investment committee like every other, organization which invests in the stock market. They have an investment committee, so you know how it works. If you are the only person to take a decision, you will take a quick decision, either get out, get in, and all. When you are ruled by a committee, everybody passes the buck. This is what normally would have happened in LIC's investment and disinvestment both. This is,
But Vijayji, that's our buck that's being passed around.
yeah, I
So
know. Who cares? See, they don't care, sir. You know how it works, no? Who cares for people like you and me? Who cares? So that is what would have happened. I feel that because I know a little bit of this, whatever this system, how it functions. So nobody will be held responsible. They'll say, we went through, it looked like an interesting thing. It is an infrastructure play on the country. We should not look at short term. We are managing insurance money. Insurance money is for long term. So therefore, we should help India to grow. Which are the companies which are helping India to grow? Infrastructure is what the government's policy is. Therefore, only Adani is coming forward. So even if it is double A, it will become triple A because today it is double A because of the debt. Tomorrow, if they do an FPO and come out of it, then their rating will increase. Their net debt by EBITDA will come down. Today it is very high. They promise that they'll bring it down. So therefore, if you want India to grow, we should invest in Adani. This is a very valid argument I can give if I was
but
on the investment.
Vijayji, I have a slight disagreement in this FPO which they took back. Out of the 20,000 crores they were going to raise, only 4,500 crores was towards retiring debt. The other was for improvements on the port and certain other expansion plans. So they have a debt of approximately 2.30 lakh crores. So what is 4,500 crores to retire? Is nothing. So how are they going to retire the debt? I want to know. If they don't
Sir,
have any
they will
revenue
not retire,
accruing.
sir. They will not retire. See, I think you came in little late. I have been saying, see, those who live by debt will die by debt. That is what has happened to GMR. That's what happened to GVK. That's what happened to Anil Ambani. These guys have got painted themselves in a corner. So I believe it is going to be really a miraculous escape, a Houdini kind of escape if he's going to escape, if the group is going to escape from here. So I would be very, very wary of even looking at that group. I've been very much of antagonistic attitude I've taken against all debt-laden companies. This is one of them. In the past, I've taken an antagonistic view on Anil Ambani ADAG Group or GMR or GVK, and this is another group which I have taken an antagonistic view because you will die by debt. If you, so they wanted to have a lower debt equity ratio, so they reduced debt, their increased equity, reduced debt, reduced, your hold on the company from 72.6 to 68.3 or something like that. So they painted a picture which looked interesting enough and attractive enough for the old fuddy duddy sitting in the investment committee of LIC. So that is the thing. So I can make a case to invest in Adani with this kind of an argument. And if everybody wants to buy the argument around the table for what reasons best known to them, they'll buy it. And they know that nobody will, say anything. So they leave it. So they will not sell, sir. Selling is out of question. 4.3% what they're holding is out of question because LIC is generally not an organization which will sell large companies so easily. I don't think they
But
have sold
that's
any
right,
time.
Vijayji. I agree with your thing. But Hindenburg has said that they're 85% overvalued, the Adani stocks. Suppose it comes down to 15%. All right. Then what happens to the public investment in LIC? What happens to the banks? Loans with Adani. Apparently, the banks have an exposure of 80,000 crores. If that comes down, what are they going to value? Their assets have been overvalued and they've been loaned money. Now, at 15% of that value, if it comes down to, why will anyone touch them with a 10-foot pole? They'll say you've already taken more money more money from us than you should. What is the collateral you can give us? Then what happens?
Yes, Sanjeev sir. Definitely, that is what I've been saying. See, it doesn't look for me as an investor at 150 PE. I will not touch it with a 10-foot barge pole. I will
Right.
touch it only at 15 or 30
Got it.
PE. One
Yeah.
fifth only I will touch it. See, that is reason why even the retail investors are not invested. See, the retail investors are the what we call the dumb best dodo guys. They are the guys who will get massacred all the time. This time the retail investors have stood up and said, boss, हमको नहीं करने का ये. You don't do
Vijay
this tamasha here.
Right.
So
ji,
once the retail investors have shown what they are, Kripal
Right.
sir was mentioning that, I think
yeah.
people have
Sir,
learned.
one more input I can tell you. See, this Adani Enterprises quotation in 2019-20, it was around 100-150 rupees level. LIC has not invested at the present level or last year. So their purchase or the cost prices would have been much lower. So from that level, it has appreciated to a great level and now it has fallen. But still, their holding is much better than their investment. That's what they say. And in 2020, I think it was around 120, rupees level it was. And not only LIC is invested in the even the other 12 companies of other insurance companies other than LIC also equally they have invested in that company. LIC though they have invested about 4.2% stake. The other insurance companies, 12 companies, they have hold around another 4.25% stake in that. So it is a general investment decisions what they have taken, not without looking at the present situation. And the LSE would have booked its profits as and when the opportunities are there, because some maybe in 2013-14 the LSE chairman was telling openly that market goes up or comes down, it's a good for our institution. If market goes up, we'll book the profit. If market comes down, we'll select for investment. That's what he openly said. So that is the commercial decision what they are taking. But I don't know what afterwards the LIC has sold it or not. It will be known only at the March quarter end when they give to the stock exchange filing. So that's what I feel, sir. Ultimately, this Adani has appreciated in last 2 years this much, but LIC was holding much earlier to that period. That's what I presume. But ultimately, the investment is better than what they had invested. I mean, the return is there. That's what indicates.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you.
I agree, sir.
So
Kripal sir,
just
the
to add
returns
to
are
Krupal, Vijayji, just to add to Krupal, whole investment has been in the range of 120 rupees to 424 rupees, which was the last tranche. And therefore, if you look at the average, because most of the investments are in the range of 100 rupees, then the the losses are only notional. Actually, all the companies which have invested, be it financial institutions or be it banks or be it LIC, all of them are sitting on the reasonable profits. So, to the theory of Heidenberg, first, I don't believe that it will ever come to that
erosion of 75 or 80 percentage as is being presumed by Sanjeev ji, even if it comes to that, then also, even if they square off, they will still make their money out. Number two, it is not a comparison that we can do with any other organization. Like you're talking about Anil Ambani and sorts, because here you have uh, assets which are fixed assets which are lying with them, and also the ports which are there running. If you look at the kind of cash flow, don't look at debt. Debt is just 2.2 lakhs, and the cash flow which is being generated by these seven companies together is around 38,000 crores. So if it is 1 is to 7, I think the debt ratio is quite good, though it is on the higher side. For an organization which is growing completely inorganically, it completely helps them to diversify and also increase their scale. So I think that's where I'll take a period here.
First
Yeah,
of
okay,
all,
Brett.
I didn't say that, Vijay. It's Hindenburg who said that they will depreciate by 85, and they've accused them not only of being over leveraged on debt, but rigging their stock prices, tax frauds, shell companies. A lot of misdemeanors and a lot of flouting the law. So those are things which could. I mean, I'm more worried about stock prices can go up and down, but what about the criminal acts of fraud and price rigging of the shares? What will happen on that issue or that charge? And round tripping of money from shell companies back into plowing it back into the various Adani companies through front companies, overseas companies. What about that?
Yeah, Sanjeev sir, see, I take your point about, this prices may come down. See, your question also was specific to in this FPO, why did they invest? That is a question is what we should try to find out as to why would they want to buy it at 3,200 when if their average is maybe below 2,000 and there is no real earthly reason for them to buy it at 30. That is the point which you raised and which I try to answer saying that why add more when what's so great in adding more? Now, in terms of debt and this one, so I will beg to differ with Brad. I got my numbers. The Adani Enterprise doesn't have a free cash flow. It is a negative cash flow. Current ratios are poor across the board. Green energy, power, total gas, every one of them, the free cash flow is not there, and your current ratios is low. Net debt to EBITDA is high. See, people may say it is a growing concern. People, they will grow inorganically. So people are investing, right? Somebody is buying it. But if I look at the numbers, I don't think I would have invested. And also, the big mutual funds have not invested. Retail has not invested. It's only a few people who have invested. Few institutions have invested. Only time will tell. My thinking is it's got a long way down to go because they are constrained because they cannot raise money and they are living on debt. If you come to equity, then it's a different ball game to altogether. If you want to hive something off, it is okay. See, these ports and so running, the same argument could be put for GMR or GVK. All of them are running, but GMR and GVK sunk. It has happened in the past, so it doesn't matter whether it's running or not running. If there is negative cash flow, if after running, that's what happened in GMR and GVK. You can go back and check. Most people may not know. Unfortunately, I was there, and that's how the entire edifice crumbled at that point of time. If these guys are not careful, they have a risk, a huge risk, which today we are okay because there is a bounce. So we may feel nice for the next few weeks, months, but if I were a prudent banker, I will raise up my interest rates when these guys come. I will ask for extra collateral. See, their entire Gujarat, Ambuja, and ACC shares have been pledged. Of course, the Adani groups and none of the stocks have been pledged. But so they don't have a leeway in that, two companies. They have leeway here because they can pledge their shares. But will people accept the pledge? Is a question which time will answer. I am very uncomfortable even at these prices as an investor. As a trader, one can make huge amount of money by trading both sides. But fundamentals of this group are questionable simply because the ratios which the bankers will look or the bond market will look, I think, are not impressive enough for the bond prices. For people to give them the money in the bond market. This is my experience.
Thank you, Vijayji. Thanks a lot for your time. So
Yeah,
it's
thank you,
really
sir, for
nice
coming
to
to our
very
room.
great. Thank you. My
Please keep
pleasure.
coming.
We will run rooms again.
Yeah,
We
I
will
do,
run
sir.
rooms again together.
I used to do, sir. Sir, I am not as prolific as you are. You run rooms every day. Mr. Kripal sir runs it every day.
No,
I'm a lazy guy. I run
no,
it.
I know, but you speak with a lot of wisdom and with a lot of knowledge,
Thank you,
and
sir.
I
Thank
really
you on that.
appreciate all your,
Yeah.
all your comments and all your insights. Thank you very much for answering
Yeah,
my
thank you, sir.
questions.
You please come. I'm doing one on P notes. It will be
Yeah,
very interesting.
just keep pinging me and I'll come.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'd love to
I
come
will.
and be a part of your room.
I will
Thank
do
you.
that, sir.
It's a lot
I
to
will do.
learn from your rooms. Thank you.
No, no, thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll do that, sir. Certainly, I'll
Thank
do.
you.
I
Good day.
think we are. Don't think we have got anything else. Will Adani become a PSU? Who knows? Nobody thought Vodafone will become a PSU. So, Hazard,
Yeah,
you can never know.
yeah.
Now, can we have a better view by seeing above link on valuation? Oh God. Aman Singh, kindly go through the Hindenburg report. There is a summary. Then there's a that huge report, but I have read it. I think I advise you to look at it. There are tables which they have given. There is detailed. It's an interesting. It's like a good fiction novel. But nobody has got the patience. But if you have the patience, read it. At least look at the tables. The tables are there. I don't know how to put links and all that. So forgive me on that. I will conclude with the story of what happened, how promoters can try to game the market and how they fail. If there are no more questions, I'll conclude with that story. You see, in when I was in the Madras Stock Exchange in 1994, 95, many of these promoters, they believed in this. They held a high stake in their companies. That time, I think there were no rules also about how much a promoter should hold. So promoters and their cronies used to hold much part of the stake, and they used to do what we call circular trading. And they used to jack up the prices because there were no circuits. That was a floor based trading, the ring, where you can do anything. It was completely wild west. So there was this company called Balaji Steels, and this Balaji Steels was at 10 rupees. Like typical MBA guys, we look at EPS, PE, infrastructure was growing in 90s, early 90s after the liberalization. So we all thought India will become great country within the next 3-4 years. So any country which was in, say, metals or infrastructure, we used to pile on. A lot of such companies came and vanished. We all know. I have lots of share certificates in a box because I can't even demat it. Now, one such good, so-called good company was Balaji Steels, and we analyzed it, me and my friend in Stanchart, and we said this is the share to buy. So we bought it at some, I don't know, maybe 18 rupees or something, and it went up to some 40, 50, and we sold. Because as far as our valuation metrics was concerned, it was overvalued at 40 or 50. So we got out of it. Then what happened? The management, you see, they felt that they have come, they know the market better than the market itself. That is the fundamental mistakes most managements make to their you know uh, whatever to their disadvantage, I would say. So they hired some brokers, and they slowly took the share price up, and then they took it up very quickly, like same like Adani. It happened suddenly from 50. It was going at 50, 60. Suddenly it went to 80, 100, 150, 200, 250, 300, 350 within a span of few months. Balaji Steel. So we wanted to short that share because we believed that this share is overvalued to 40 rupees. What is this doing at 350 rupees? So you see, we are not allowed to short it. First of all, Madras Stock Exchange had a cash market kind of thing. So there is no futures options, nothing. You can do nothing. At best, you can sell today and buy day after tomorrow. That's all. You had only 2 days because there were 2 settlements per week. So what we could do was we tried something like that. We had some method to short it even there, but the management never allowed the share price to come down below 325 and never allowed it to go above 375. So they kept it in a band of 325 to 375. But they had to absorb all the quantity which people like us sold to them. Somewhere along the line, they got into a cash crunch because again they lived on debt. So we did not know that. So what the management did was they said, let us sell at 375 in big quantity. If it comes down to 300, we'll buy it. And again take it up to 375. That 75 rupees is ours. They also had to pay the debts. So they sold left, right, center through the brokers. Through he used some other broker and tried to sell up to 350, 325. They sold, but the market got wind of it, and they said, "Boss, management is selling, so let us also sell." So then the selling came. 1 year later, it went bankrupt. Okay? That is how the market is. If you try to outsmart the market once in a while, you will win. But market is a conglomeration of the brilliant minds. So it'll get fooled once. Second time it'll attack you. It got attacked and finally they went bankrupt. So the share price is zero technically. Maybe it was 5 rupees or 2 rupees or 50 paise, I don't know. But that's it. That company went. Just like Balaji Steels, the many companies, many promoters went bust. And these are the promoters who held most of the shares. It is not that there is a big floating stock and people short sold and all that. Don't ask me how market forces play out. The management will not hold with them. They will hold through their cronies. They'll hold through shell companies in this case. They'll hold it through that. So when the push comes to shove, the shell companies or the cronies will sell. And they have no compunction. When they sell, there is no buyer on the other side. So they will sell it to 10 rupees. From 100 rupees, they'll sell it to 10 rupees. That's what happened in some companies. There are many companies which I have witnessed in front of my eyes, where companies have come down from 100 rupees to 10 rupees within a few weeks. And there are no circuits. So simply it will come down. Nobody will be buying. On the other side, when it's going up, only management will be buying. So these kind of things always happen. It is not something new which is happening now and all that. What we call Benami. Benami is as old as civilization itself. You always do on others' behalf. So Benami was there then, Benami is there now. So nobody is going to say, no, if somebody says everybody is very clean and all that, I beg to disagree because I've seen it myself. So whenever a company is fundamentally not strong or not having good ratios, financial ratios, I will stay away from it. My ugly ducklings or the stocks which I select, which I mention, are always well researched. Even after all that, the share prices will come down. So many things can happen which can go wrong. But at least you should know why you are buying. I don't know if I'm going to buy Adani tomorrow or any group company of Adani. I will not know why I'm buying, excepting to see whether I can get a greater fool to buy it from a higher price. So many times I'll be the greater fool. So I don't want to be in that situation where knowing fully well that the fundamentals are shaky, I want to jump in and buy just to have fun. Market is not to have fun. Market is serious business. Even the best of the minds fail once in a while. And I have failed enough number of times for me to understand that I will not get fooled if somebody waves a flag. I am also waving a flag in my DP. That doesn't mean I'm made of milk and honey. So somebody waves a flag at me, I can only feel sad for that fellow. And that to an Australian waving a flag at me and telling me we Indians are like Jallianwala Bagh fellows. Shame on him. Yeah. With this, let me thank every one of you who came here, who asked questions. Sri, Vinay, DNA, and Kripal sir. CG did not come up. CG, you did not help me today. I will never forget you are not help. Okay. I'm just joking. Huh? Okay. So I would have wished more people ask questions. Srinivasan sir, you want to ask any question? Anything you want to make a point? Let me invite him. Yeah. Srinivasan sir also let me invite. Let's see whether he wants to say something. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Some
Came
more.
up to say good evening. Just reached home, sir. I was driving all through 300 kilometers, sir.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. You are also doing a Bharat
And
Jodo
when
Yatra. Hmm? I missed you, Siji. We'll do one on participatory notes sometime soon. That time you please come. Maybe next Sunday or the following Sunday. Sometime we will do as quickly as possible. Hmm? Yeah.
sure, sir.
So
Sure,
if you're,
sir.
I'm
Thank
sure
you.
you're tired. Take care. And let's hear from Shankar. If you got anything else to say, CG, anything to say?
Nothing, sir. Only good evening.
Good evening. Yeah. Shankar.
Sorry, sir. I was on a walk. I was just wearing my headphone and listening it. I'm sorry I was late. I just came home, sir. I just wanted to know if you're positive on Nifty. You say Nifty will go. You're like positive. You're bullish on Nifty. My question is on Adani. So now Adani, SBI have invested in Adani. LIC is invested in Adani, and S Bank and Axis Bank has given some credit to them or something like that, exposure to them. So if you are bullish on Nifty, uh, and even Adani should go up now, sir, if that is the case.
Sir, I
If not,
want.
if not, SBI have to fall, and it is a contradictive. Like if you're bullish, SBI also have to go up, but SBI is also given the exposure for Adani and others, right? As a retail investor, what do you suggest us to think about this, sir?
Sir, I'll tell you one story, Shankar sir. In 2013, I like to tell the stories, whether you like to listen or not, but just this is one story. In 2013, India was in deep trouble. The rupee had fallen 27% in 3 months. Recently, rupee fell about 12% in 12 months. And we all panicked. That time it fell 27% in 3 months. People said India is going to go to dogs and all that. We were the fragile five. In August of 2013, the Nifty was 5,300, 5,300. In October of 2021, Nifty was 18,600. So Nifty has gone up 3.5 times. Correct, sir? There is one favorite share of mine called ITC. ITC was supposed to be the safe haven because you see, ITC is fully protected because it's a domestic business. So let us say I am bullish on Nifty at 5,300. I see 18,600 in say 9 years or 8 years, 9 years. So I would think ITC, which is the safest share because it's a profit-making, dividend-paying company for 110 years. It is multi-product. So let me buy ITC. I go and buy ITC. In 2022, in March, 9 years later, close to 9 years later, Nifty has crossed from 5,300 to 18,600 3.5 times. The ITC damn thing was sitting at 260 in 2013, is sitting at 220 in 2022. So 9 years, profit making, dividend paying company, 110 years, multifaceted company, all its products are there in our home. We may not know it. No other company's products are in your home as much as ITC. Yet it didn't move. So it doesn't mean that just because Nifty goes up, all stocks will go up. Divi's Lab, you see where Divi's Lab is today. Great company, but you see where it's.
I agree, sir. I agree. But my point is, SBI is one of the biggest bank in India. So if it has been given, right? In that case, sir, I'm just asking you. If I'm wrong, sorry.
No, SBI is, what is wrong with SBI? SBI is lent to Adani, right? But
Yeah, and LIC is also the
nobody
same.
is saying
Yes,
Adani
bank is
will go
also
bust tomorrow. No. Who says that Adani will go bust tomorrow? We are saying Adani may go sideways, may not do great in their job because they may get constrained because they don't have cash. They may hive off something. So Adani may take its own path. But if SBI, incidentally, public sector banks had given 55% of debt of Adani came from public sector bank 6 years ago. Today it is only 26%. So debt of Adani, to Adani, has been halved by public sector banks. So even SBI is. So if SBI has ring fenced itself by collateralizing the assets of Adani, where is the problem? A time may come, like it came in GVK, GMR, ADAG, that they will have to hive off their assets so that they can protect. See, otherwise the lenders will hive off the assets. See, when they have taken Bombay Airport from GVK, Adani took it over. Adani didn't build Bombay Airport. So why should Reliance not take over Bombay Airport from Adani? So you have to look at it like that. See, things have changed, Shankar. Things are no longer that, the public sector banks can be stripped. It is not possible. They may make a mistake here and there. They may make, not that they will never make. They will make and all that. But today, public sector banks are in the finest, what shall I say, state of in terms of balance sheet, which I have ever seen. I've been in the market for 40 years as a investor, as an intermediate for 30 years. I have seen banks, how these fellows behave in the 90s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, and all that. Today, it's very difficult. See, it's true that SBI might have given a larger amount, might have been pressurized, but I don't think they have just given it like loan mela, which all the public sector banks used to do in 2010. I don't think you should be worried. I think this Adani can slow down our growth slightly, slow down the acceleration of our Nifty or the Bank Nifty or Sensex. By and large, there are enough horsepower in the market which will override Adani's sluggishness. Adani incidentally has got 1% in Nifty. What stops the NSE committee tomorrow to throw Adani out and bring back Shree Cement, which it did? So kindly don't worry about that. See, I'm not trying to be bullish just for being bullish. I have some reasons and logic for being bullish. These are my reasons.
So you are as a retailer. So I'm just asking as a retailer, don't mind. So you are suggesting me to I mean invest in SBI or something like that, sir? Are you
Shankar,
suggesting me something like that?
Shankar,
Just
I am,
at this time.
yeah,
No,
if,
I'm not asking you this. I'm just asking you at this time. What do you suggest for the retailers or
yeah,
something for the
Shankar,
investors?
just mute you. I got a question. See, Shankar, I'm not a semi-registered advisor. All I can tell you is what I'm doing. I regularly put what I'm doing. I pinned a tweet that I had bought only government companies, 20 stocks. I put the names. I put what logic I've used. I am not saying anybody to buy it. I am buying. I am telling you I'm fully invested. I don't care beyond a point for Adani at this point of time unless something new happens. Okay. I am looking at the fundamentals of the economy. I am looking at the budget. I am looking at the fundamentals of the corporate. I believe we have a bright future for the next few months, and therefore we will take it up. See, after all, when we talk of long term, we're still going every day morning at 9:15 and looking at the index and try or the stocks and trying to take a decision. What I'm trying to tell you is simply this: I am not, I am not scared. I think we had a problem. The budget was so good, the market should have gone up. It has not gone up or it has gone down because of this imbroglio of Adani. These kind of things will keep happening, which it's like a semi black swan or a gray swan, which happened. A gray swan because people like me knew about this problem. It's just that somebody from USA had to point it out. That's all. So these kind of obstacles will keep coming down, but it's still an obstacle race. We will reach, I believe strongly, we have got a long distance to go and we will cross these obstacles, what we call walls of worry in a bull market. This is one of that wall of worry. We may get something else next month and following month, but the wall of worry will get climbed is my strong belief. As a retail investor, I always used to tell my clients when I was a stockbroker on the National Stock Exchange many years ago, buy India, which means what? Buy exchange traded funds like Nifty, Bank Nifty, there are Bank Bs, Nifty Bs, those kind of things. You can rest easy. If you buy stocks, you need to do a lot of research. If you get caught in the wrong stock at the wrong price, somebody getting caught in ITC in 2013 at 260 would have cursed. But somebody who bought an ETF at 2013 would have got 3.5 times. So buy India is what I always tell people who come to me, especially people who are the first time. When I teach in colleges, I tell my students the same thing. Uh, Don't bet against India. You bet against certain stocks, certain companies, certain sectors, true. But please don't bet against India. So India is available on the secondary market through ETFs called Nifty Bs, Bank Nifty Bs, the index ETFs. I'm not asking you to buy them. I'm just telling you it is possible to make money in the stock market by buying indices, which is very popular abroad, which is not so popular in India. So instead of spending time and getting heart attacks with these fluctuations and blood pressure going up and all that, I would suggest that you look at India. I hope you got the answer, Shankar.
Yeah, thanks, sir. I know you no, no, you said you invested in Ambuja also. Now even Adani has a huge this one funds in and he's been funds, right? He has funds in Ambuja also. So there's some contradictory, sir. That's my point here.
No, there is no contradiction, Shankar. You don't follow me. I may sell it off tomorrow. So please don't, see, I am an investor means I have bought, put money. I have not taken any futures position or I have not taken any leverage position. So there is no contradiction there.
Okay.
I am taking a risk because I think I know Ambuja cement. What if tomorrow it comes down or comes crashing down? I have to bear the brunt of it. I'm not asking you to do that. There is no contradiction there. I believe Ambuja looked interesting because 385 is the price Mr. Adani paid. 360 somebody, a competitor wanted to pay. Adani was the highest bidder, so he got it. If I am getting Ambuja at 340, I thought it is a good buy. So did Samir Arora buy it at 370. So I thought Samir Arora, such an intelligent guy, has bought at 370. Why can't I buy at 340? That's all. Well, I also follow Ambuja Cement for years. I know Ambuja Cement for years. So I know it's a good company. I bought it. Now, tomorrow morning, if I feel uncomfortable and if I believe that there will be money siphoned out of Ambuja Cement, I will be the first person to sell. So, therefore, I don't want to recommend anything to anybody. Just don't follow me.
No,
My
no,
way of
no, no,
thinking,
we're not, we're just having this discussion. I'm not
yeah,
following
so
you,
it's not
Shankar.
contradictory.
Having this
Nothing is
discussion.
contradictory. It's a attitude, it's a way of my investment. My investment plan is not Ambuja. My investment plan is spread across say, 20 scripts or 30 scripts. So I know out of 30, 10% will fail, but I don't know which 10%. I'm hoping that Ambuja will not be in the 10%. If Ambuja is going to be in 10%, so be it. But I know not all 30 will do well. At least 10%, maybe 30% may fail. I'm prepared for that. But what I'm trying to tell you is that I am bullish overall. Which script will go, I don't know. But I'm buying 30 scripts. I'm not buying only Ambuja. Ambuja is one of them.
Great, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
CG, why don't you close the show? CG, are you there or are you sleeping? Oh, probably is not there. Okay. Once again, I think I've answered all queries. Is there anything else? Anybody else? Nobody else is there. Oh, 1 minute. Pavan Gupta, maybe he will come. I don't know if he comes. I will take his call. Not come. Yeah. Yeah, Pavan Gupta ji. All yours. Pavan Gupta ji. Hello. Hello. Please mute your mic. Unmute your mic, sir.
Okay, sorry, I just unmuted it. Hi, Sainik. Sir, just wanted to have your view on INR and USD and especially Eurozone volatility, if you can consider it, if you have anything on it.
Yeah, see, I have been, see, this, I mentioned about rupee some time ago. See, every year about 7% or something, there's 5 to 7%, there is a normal drop of rupee against dollar. So this time it dropped much more than that. So there was some cause for worry. But there was a talk at one time that you will go to 90, 95, 100. That is rupee to dollar. I strongly believed then, I strongly believe now that the worst is over. The peak for rupee dollar, that is 83.4 or something, what it went. I doubt it will go there again this year. I think it will strengthen against the dollar. It may not strengthen too much because RBI will sterilize. So therefore, they may hold it in a band. RBI does not want rupee also to move too much out of the band. So I would think that 84, whatever that, what 83.8 or whatever, I don't remember that number, but that could be the upper end of the band. And I would say 79 could be the lower end of the band. I don't think it will come below 79 and it may not go above 84. Basically, I'm bullish on rupee. Eurozone, I'm very scared, honestly, because I believe Eurozone has not come out of the trouble. Maybe we may have a second round of selling in Eurozone in terms of the euro and all that. Maybe. I'm bullish on India, I'm bullish on China, I'm bullish on Hong Kong. I don't know even about US. No, it is in midway. I did 2023 prediction where I put a K. In the K, I put the top end. I put that top whatever the part of the K. I put these India, China, and Hong Kong market. US markets are way that where the both the this one what thing meets in the K, and the bottom I put Europe and all that because I'm not very clear about Europe. Though the stock market is going up, I have a feeling they may struggle. This is what I'm thinking at this point of time. I'm bullish on rupee. I'm bullish on Indian stock market. I'm neutral on US at these levels. I'm bearish on eurozone. I hope you got your answer, Pawanji.
So just one more extension to that. So don't you think that FIs are not going to invest considering that Adani saga, or they'll be pumping in? They'll be coming hands up.
Could you mute your this one? I'll answer. Please mute. Yeah. See, this
Okay.
FII business, I'll tell you one very interesting thing. See, I've had these arguments again and again. I telling you, see, some things change, and we are not willing to accept the change. We believe the old stories. Without FII, the market cannot go up. If FII sell, the market will go down. True, it was many years ago. But things have changed. Now, is that a figment of our imagination saying, oh, Mera Bharat Mahan, so it has changed. So are you giving me this gyan or boli about, we can manage without FIS? So we have to look at data. Let's take data from 2015. Let's take the calendar year 2015, FI net sellers 2015, FIS net sellers 2016, FIS net sellers 2017, FIS net seller 2018, FIS net buyers calendar year 2019, FIS net buyers calendar year 2020, FIS net sellers 2021, FIS net sellers 2022, and the first month FIS net sellers. Where were we in 2015? Where are we today? 7,000, 6,800 or something. That is the numbers which we should roam around in 2016 also. Today we are sitting at around what shall I say, 18,000. From 6.5 we have come to 18. Three times, 2.5 times we have gone on the index alone. So whenever somebody puts a statement, I always check the veracity of the statement by data. For me, data is God. When I look at data, data doesn't support that thesis that FIs rule Indian market. They did rule at one time. I was there before FIs came in. FIs came in 94. FIs ruled the roost for many, many years, but no longer. So it doesn't matter to me whether FIs come or not. However, I believe that FIs will come in plenty after the participatory notes law has been passed. So I will be doing a session on that sometime soon. Let me talk more about it at that point of time and why I think it's a very elaborate session which I want to do. Kindly come. I'll be very happy to have you there, and I'll tell you why
Sainik
I
sir,
think what.
Sainik sir, sorry to interrupt you. My question was not whether they will come, because it has other impacts. That breaking the rupee, because I'm not because I don't. Matlab, RBI has ammunition of 1.5 lakh crores. That's it, to support the market, and I don't see any other thing which is supporting rupee at 84 level breaking. So my question was with that aspect, not with equity thing. I
Sir,
hope
I'll
you
tell
are
you one more
getting
story,
the.
sir. Okay, I'll tell you one more story. You mute yourself for it.
Yeah.
If you mute, I'll tell you. Kindly mute yourself, sir, because there is a feedback. See, I started my career in the stock market as a sub broker in 1991. In 1991, we had given our gold to the Bank of England to borrow. Our forex reserves. You're talking of $550 billion today. Our forex reserves $1 billion. $3 billion Pakistan today, Sri Lanka $3 billion. Both of them are bankrupt. We were 1 billion. There was no hope in hell if somebody was there. I left my job and started. Why? Because I believed in the DNA of this country. I believed that the policies of this country will take us away from breaking the rupee. Rupee could have easily broken $1 billion at 25 rupees to a dollar in 1991 would mean 10,000 crores. which TCS, we are unhappy when it gives 10,000 crores per quarter. So we have gone through life, we have gone through hell. So of course you may say inflation has caught up, so you can add some more $1 billion there. But what I'm trying to say is this: that this country, I'm not trying to wave the flag here, okay? Though I'm a DP, the flag is there. What I'm trying to say here is we are sufficiently strong enough to withstand any attack on the rupee. We were actually very weak in 2013. I told you 27% in 3 months is not a joke. We withstood that at that point of time. I don't think there is going to be any attack on Indian rupee. And even if it in the an unlikely event, if there is an attack, I think we have seen the 2013 model. I think it will work out. It worked out beautifully at that point of time. Forget the 1991. Look at the 2013 model itself. So having facts at my, on my side, I'm fairly confident. We may not go very fast. Rupee may not appreciate so much. Rupee may depreciate, may create some problems here and there. But we are on the right path, sir. It may take us time, but we are reaching significantly higher numbers in every single parameter, including stock market and rupee, including inflation, everything. But very slow. We may go slower. That's all. We may be stopped because of all these Adanis of the world. But I think we are on the right path. That I'm very confident based on data and based on experience.
Got you, sir. See you on your P note wala sessions, and thank you for and giving me that confidence.
Yeah, P also stands for Pawan. Hmm?
Just worried.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you, Pawan. Thank you. Thank you for P and N, both are there in your name. So thank you for coming. Thank you for asking questions which ignited some good debate. Once again, thanks to everyone. I think I will close. DNA says it'll fire up. We will discuss the DNA as soon as possible. So CG, would you like to close it? CG is not there, means I will close it. Thank you once again, everybody. Sri, Vinay, Pavanji, DNA, CG, Shankar, Krupal sir, everyone. Good night. See you soon on the P note discussion shortly.